Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, welcome back. Glad to have you.
Thanks so much. It has been a wild month for me of great things. It's actually not over yet because I am going to head off to Zootopia Better Together shortly. But I am just off of the brand new Disney Destiny, and I can't say enough wonderful things about it, so much so that I already booked my next sailing before I got off.
Shocking. That's shocking. That would be what you would do. So,
I'll be honest. I usually leave with a placeholder.
right.
For our listeners, if you don't know, if you do an onboard reservation, you give a $250 deposit and you get 10% off select sailings. It's about 90% of the year. And you've got 2 years to redeem it. So I always take advantage of that, but it usually sits as a placeholder for 2, 3, 4, 6 months. This ship was so fabulous. And I know my family was very jealous, especially with the new dining room that I went without them, that we already grabbed our next sailing reservation.
Well, not only your friends were jealous too. I was sitting there jealous the entire time that you were gone. But for folks that were looking for us this last week, that's part of why we were dark, right? We had this wonderful experience that you were on, trying to take it all in, and we figured it was best to just kind of wait and get the lay of the land. This is going to be one of multiple shows that we're going to do to describe this beautiful new ship, right? So tonight, give us an idea of what you want to talk about so that folks are prepared.
Well, I've been told that I should dedicate an episode to Sandy's Disney Cruise Line wardrobe.
There you go. We'll have the targeted ads. People can wear what you
Disney
wear.
Cruise Line sailing for me is definitely a unique experience. It's 2 to 3 outfits a day, all in perfect themes. So I shared some of that on our social.
Yeah.
But tonight we're really going to talk about the history of the ship, the christening of the ship, where we can expect to see this ship in the future, all about the amazing new lobby. Just when I think they can't outdo themselves, they do it again. And probably I would have to say, without a doubt, it made it to my first place of Disney standard dining room rotations. Pride Lands just blows everything out of the water. I used to say it was Animator's palette, but now it takes a humble second to that. And again, there's so much about this ship. So next week, we'll talk all about the staterooms, everything from all of the many, many designs. That's one of the things we've seen with their newer ships is it's not a stateroom design and a concierge design. There are many different stateroom designs you can have, many different concierge designs. And I have to tell you, no pun intended, because Incredibles are on this ship, but the stateroom theming is just incredible. Really up to their game, phenomenal new color palette. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, it would not be a Disney cruise without talking about all of the new lounges on board. They did bring back for this ship the Haunted Mansion Lounge because it was so incredibly popular. And spoiler alert, I got to sit in the Donald chair. Woo-hoo.
Nice. All right. So, but those are the next two. Tonight we're going to talk
Those are coming.
We're going to talk. We'll start with the history. So, give us a little bit about the history of the Disney Destiny.
So it's amazing to me that a ship this large gets built so quickly. There's a lot in figuring out how they're going to design it and all of those things. But because it's one within this same Wish class, as they call it, the Wish was the first one, the bones of the boat, so to speak, are the same.
Okay.
So they had their keel laying ceremony. That's really when they get started on March 20th, 2024. And they actually did what's called the Ems River Conveyance. That's when they send it out and test sail it on September 19th of 2025. So not even 2 years from start to finish, just under 18 months. And this is clearly a sneak peek because we are coming to you on November 19th And the maiden voyage, if you're listening on our drop day, is tomorrow, November 20th, 2025. So I was very lucky to be on this ship in a preview cruise before it was available to the public. And again, there are lots of great things to be seen on this ship. It can hold up to 4,000 passengers
Wow.
in 1,249 staterooms. And check out this ratio that Disney continues to maintain. So a max of 4,000 passengers with 1,555 crew members. So less than a 1-to-3 ratio there.
I will say this though, out of anything that I've seen them do cruise line wise, this got so much social media play. So for folks that are listening to us, they've definitely seen some of the stuff that you're going to talk about tonight because it was everywhere. They did a great job of really hyping up what this ship is, and the visuals were outstanding. You did it as well, but it was definitely everywhere. So talk to me
And
about
I
go
think
ahead.
it had a uniqueness to it that we haven't seen on any of the other ships because it sort of had two themes to it. It had a hero's theme and a villain's theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about the different sides and the clash of the heroes and the villains and who wins out. And, you know, are you going to be team hero or team villain? So that really helped them in kind of upping that game that you were talking about in the social media beforehand.
So it is, as you said, it was a preview cruise, but it was really the first thing they did. So talk to us about the whole christening experience.
I am extremely fortunate and thankful to Disney. While this is my 5th preview cruise, it is my 2nd christening. And this one, they change it up a little bit every time. So we all boarded the ship, and then only those of us that were credentialed, so less than a quarter of the ship, exited the ship in the early evening. We went back into the port. They had us some little cocktails, some light bites, again, incredibly themed. We went through 3 different rooms, 2 heroes, 1 villains. And then they took us out onto the dock where we had all kind of guessed what was going on, and we were all wrong. From our stateroom balcony, we could see the setup for the christening. So you could see the stage where you knew they were going to have a performance. We kind of picked out the area that we'd be standing in, and then you could see the area that the big media and the Disney blog people were
Right.
with their cameras. But it turned out that while there was music and a stage show for us, they actually took the ship a little bit out of the port, and the most spectacular drone show happened. Again, all in those heroes and villains themes, representing every theme on the ship, from Black Panther to Brave to Cruella and the 101 Dalmatians. But in addition to the drones, they used the side of the ship to do a projection that worked with what was in the sky. So totally enthralling. If you haven't seen it, we've got some still photos that we're going to put up, and we'll link you right to the whole ceremony. It is worth watching.
Very, very
Of
cool.
course, Mickey and Minnie were there. Captain Mickey,
Shocking,
Captain
yes,
Minnie.
Of course.
And they brought Susan Egan out to the stage. If you're not familiar with Susan, she does a lot with Disney. She was the voice of Meg in Hercules and the original Belle on Broadway. So she is the godmother of the ship. She did the official christening of the ship. And if you're not familiar with Susan, or you love Susan, they actually just announced that she'll be replacing Jennifer Gardner, is unable to make Candlelight Processional this year. So December 3rd and 4th, head to Epcot if you want to check out Susan there.
Okay, so let's talk about where the ship is going to go, right? Because these new ships roll out and they have certain itinerary. What do we have to expect from this one?
Might be a shorter list for me to tell you where it's not going.
I was going to say, I've looked at it, so that's, you're not wrong.
They're trying some really unique things with this ship. So for about a year now, it's going to do mostly 3 and 4 night sailings. The 3-night sailings might go to Lighthouse, or they will go to Castaway. And they could have a day at sea, or they could do one of those islands, and of course, beautiful Nassau. They have a 4 night going to one island or the other and to Nassau. They've got a 4 night going to both islands, what we call that double dip,
Right.
plus a day at sea. Then they've got a really unique one that I kind of have my eye on for another sailing on this ship. It to me is kind of the perfect cruise. It's a 4 night sailing going to Castaway and nowhere else. So all of that sea time to really enjoy the ship.
Sure.
For those of you looking for a little bit longer, they've got some 5 nights, a little bit more unique here, Castaway and Cozumel, both islands with and without Nassau, so you get a couple of sea days. And then there's one that's just Lighthouse Point and Nassau, so again, lots of sea days.
So they do have a couple of ports that they sail out of. So remind us, where is this ship calling home?
It is our second ship to call Fort Lauderdale, also known as Port Everglades, its home. So it is in southern Florida, actually southeastern Florida.
Right.
The great thing, I know we talk a lot about how convenient Port Canaveral is to Disney. It's about an hour and a half. It's an easy drive, or you can take the shuttle. But I'll give you a unique twist on this one. If you're trying to do land and sea instead of just flying in for this, the Brightline train, which we did an episode about earlier,
Sure.
I'll drop that link in our show notes, goes from the Orlando airport to Fort Lauderdale. And both the Brightline station and the Fort Lauderdale airport are less than 15 minutes from the port. So it's really nice when you get off the ship to be that close to getting home.
Nice. So you mentioned 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights. Are there any plans for an extended time that's longer than the 5 nights, or is that pretty much where we're going to land?
So I think they kind of are looking at what are the trends? What are our people looking for? A lot of those 3 and 4 night sailings are great weekend getaways or shorter getaways, but they've kind of planned ahead for the summer season, June through early October. They'll be doing 7 night Eastern and Western sailings. I think one of the other things behind that, and I'm going to give a little nod that I haven't even shared with my own team yet. We are creating, that'll start next month, a special experience for our guests and a special souvenir for those that are completing all of the ships. So we've got a great gift coming when you've done 4 or more ships, and it's a gift that keeps growing. We'll add on as you do your 5th, 6th, and 7th sailing. And I think one of the things that we sometimes hear from guests is they're not able to get on certain ships because either the sailings are too long for them or too short to meet their vacation needs.
Sure.
So this ship is really giving everyone the opportunity, whether you want 3, 4, 5, or 7. There's no reason in the first 18 months that you can't add the Destiny to your list of great ships you've sailed.
Well, and after you hear these 3 shows, you're probably going to have no choice but to add them. So where should we start, right? I mean, I think like everything else, we probably do begin with the lobby, correct?
Of course, because Deck 3 lobby on all of their ships is where you'll enter.
Right.
And every lobby is so unique. And this one, it's not just about the color palette. It's not just about the amazing chandelier that is like nothing we've ever seen on their ship before. It is based on Vibrarium. It's the rare metallic ore found
In Wakanda, vibranium, of course.
Of course. And so it's all of these kind of little rays that shoot out and they change colors. So it is a combination of gold and then a light. And depending what's going on in the atrium, it will change from orange to purple to pink. It matches the different characters as they come out.
Cool.
And then it can do a little show.
Nice.
So stunning lobby. The centerpiece for this ship is the Black Panther.
Yep. That's why
And
vibranium makes sense. Love it.
That black statue just draws you in immediately.
Sure.
Similar to what we saw on the Treasure, they've really made the lobby area a show spot during different parts of the sailing. And they've got two great shows that occur, one of which is intended to stay top secret. Dr. Facilier appears, and you can join him and get to kind of feel out his character and play a little game with him, but it is a no photos allowed opportunity.
Okay,
So,
cool.
did he really exist? We don't know. We don't have photo proof. Well, we know, but
Shadow Man,
you
of
may not.
course, of course.
Loki also, when we talk again, heroes and villains, Loki does a center stage appearance here. So it's also really nice if you're somebody who says, my kids are in bed by 7 o'clock and I don't even change that on vacation, and you're not getting to the stage shows, or you don't think your child can sit through that 45-minute to hour stage show. These extra lobby shows give something for everybody. So it's a really unique way to add on to a sailing and check out all that fun.
Well, and a significant Marvel presence, right? Obviously, Black Panther has the statue there in the lobby. But for folks that can't get out to the West Coast, and even though you keep busting my chops about it, to take a sailing out of Fort Lauderdale and have such a Marvel presence for folks it's got to be a big sell. Sounds like it was a good time.
It was, and I think you kind of nailed it with that Marvel presence, because this ship also features the Marvel dining room, as well as 1923, as we've seen on past Wish ships.
Well, that's where I want to go next, right? Because you've built up this dining room, this Pride Lands dining, to be out of this world. So before we get to that, give us the breakdown of what the main dining rooms are.
So the three rotational dining rooms, 1923, the year that Walt Disney Studios was founded. Again, incredible artwork throughout this dining room. I suggest that you go at lunchtime when it's not as crowded and take a stroll through to see all the original drawings and art pieces, just so many different Disney movies.
Okay.
And then they have the Marvel dining experience. So similar to what we've seen, a little bit different of a show, but very similar. This one does that TV screen show during dinner.
Got it. Okay. And then the main event that you got to experience, the new one.
Pride Lands. I've said before, my family is a Lion King fan, but this was out of this world. And I think for me, again, I love a good theme. I'll be sure to post my picture in Pride Lands, and coincidentally, my skirt was the perfect match to the back windows of the ship.
Yes, coincidentally, I'm sure. Yes.
It honestly was coincidentally. I just went with a good theme, and I think they stole my idea. They do some great projections across the back windows. So in the past, you've kind of just looked out, seen, whatever is in port. But here, they've added that window presence to kind of bring everything together. And this is, if you've been on the other Wish class ships, this replaces Coco or Frozen. Okay. So this is the big stage show dining. It is in the aft of the ship, and you take that very long hallway down the ship to get yourselves in there. And from the minute you enter that hall, you see it all. So you pass about 8 portholes from the sign for the restaurant to the actual area in the restaurant where they begin to seat you. And each of those portholes has been redesigned not to be an everyday porthole, but to be a Lion King porthole.
Oh, cool.
So, there's one with Simba, there's one with a paw print. Again, that long haul, as annoying as it is to hike to dinner some nights.
Sure.
You totally get immersed before you even cross the threshold.
That's awesome.
And I was lucky enough, they did a preview for us besides our dinner. So we were able to get in there in the afternoon, get all of our photos without a lot of people there, take photos of the food. And I'm walking around and I'm noticing the detail. And I always love in all of the restaurants, the detail at the table, that little touch of what is your table number? I know that sounds like such a simple thing, but they've got, the gold lion with the engraved number in it, and they've got these amazing little leather coasters under your drink that have Simba on them. And so I'm kind of checking out the table, and this guy comes over and starts chatting me up, And it turns out it was Imagineer Jay, the head Imagineer on Pride Lands.
Cool.
So I went MIA for about 25 minutes while Jay and I chatted.
Of course. I'd expect
Um,
nothing else.
you know, he was excited that I was excited. I probably could have stayed an hour, but time to move on.
Sure.
And so he gave me some tips of what to look for that you might not notice if you weren't aware. So I talked about the back windows taking on that pride theme.
Right.
But throughout the restaurant, there are faux windows that are set up like you're looking out onto a savanna. So many of them you'll see, you know, the big grass that the savanna is known for. Maybe you see a giraffe in this one or a rhino out of this one. But if you look real carefully, this restaurant does not have a hidden Mickey. It has a hidden Pumbaa.
Oh, fun.
So hunt for the Pumbaa window.
Yeah.
When you arrive in the restaurant, it's considered daytime. So you are welcome to the savannah in the daytime. And if you are paying attention to your windows throughout dinner, you will go from daytime to sunset into evening.
I love it.
So just those little touches that most people probably don't notice, or they maybe looked at the window on the way in and they look at it an hour and a half later and they go, did that change? Or do I remember it wrong?
Sure.
And then, of course, what they brought to this is that center stage show. And if you've done Festival of the Lion King and Animal Kingdom, this is Festival of the Lion King brought to life in a different way. It has those main four singers that start the show, and they sing, they dance, they've got a drummer with them. You really get into that spirit and feel like you're in the show. They use some movie music, some unique to this location music. The one thing I will be honest, and this is, if I had to give you a negative to a preview cruise, this is it. They are working very hard on the timing of this restaurant so that your order is taken before the show starts. There's 2 quick little breaks and your food should be served in those breaks.
Right.
The tough thing about all of the restaurants, I will say, is the restaurants are large. And one thing Disney's done more recently to acknowledge this is you can put in dining requests, and we accept one. And one of the things says, I want a table close to the stage. Another is, I want a table close to the screens, like I was mentioning in Marvel or Animator's Palette. I want a private table. I want a quieter table. The tables in this restaurant, some people are right up next to the stage, just like some people are in the front row. Some people are in what I would call the second row, even though they might be person number 7 or 8 or 9 away from the stage. Some people are in the third row. That could put you 10 to 15 people back. And then there's a walkway and there's people in what we would call the 4th row or 5th row of tables.
Got it.
So depending on the age of your kids and what you're looking for in this experience, there are no guarantees, but if being close to the stage is important to you, I highly recommend that you put in that one request. Again, they can't honor all of the requests. If you ask for all of them, they don't all match. You can't be in all of those places at the same time. But everybody can have that same request honored. So book early, make that recommendation if being near the stage is important to you. Otherwise, you can hear the music incredibly from everywhere. You can see, above other tables' heads and really get immersed in the experience.
Well, we're coming to the end. Before we do it, I did want to ask you, because it is a new restaurant, what kind of menu are we operating with here?
Oh, do we eat in here? What a neat idea. We're going to eat in the restaurant after all my talking.
Sure.
It is safari-based, African-based. So bread service starts with a mint, coriander, cumin yogurt dip. But they also have butter if it's not your style.
Sure.
You'll see a lot of curry in here. So appetizers, there's a curry chicken. There's a Pumbaa, passion fruit, guava, coriander, chili beer dressing. But then there's something a little bit more simple, like they call it the romaine heart salad. It does have a yogurt dressing and a pita to it. There's a sweet potato lentil coconut soup, a green papaya salad. So you can see those things coming to you in the appetizers. Entrees, again, you're definitely going to see that influence of curry, cumin, turmeric. Their big dish is a curried shrimp. They have a vegetable, almost like a ratatouille, but again, considered in that style. Interestingly enough, one of the prime recommendations was a prime rib when they give the chef's recommendation. But again, they've got that little twist. The side to the prime rib is a black garlic broccolini.
Okay.
There is a chicken, a salmon. And again, I always encourage people, if there's nothing that you like, ask for it in a more simplistic way.
Sure.
They'll make the chicken as just a grilled piece of chicken without the turmeric and everything on it. You can ask for what you want. It's also a way to try something new. You can ask for 2 things. I'm generally known for trying 2 desserts. This was no exception. And then I shared several with my table mates. We kind of passed a couple of things around.
Sure.
They did a warm chocolate pudding with an apricot jam and vanilla ice cream that was amazing. A passion fruit layer cake, which was a vanilla butter cake, and then it had a really cute little chocolate Simba on the top. A creamsicle cheesecake. I'll be honest, we all tried it. Out of all the desserts, I think when you have so many choices, something has to be not the favorite.
Sure.
That wasn't the top, and it might have to do with the texture to make it creamsicle was a little unique.
Okay.
I also tried the milk tart, which was awesome. Again, fitting into that African theme, it was a cinnamon spice custard with a roasted pineapple compote that was great. And of course, every restaurant always has an ice cream sundae on the menu. So that was an option, and not on the menu, but you can ask for in any of the restaurants, of course, is a Mickey bar. Just to switch menus for a second, if you're looking at the kids menu, which of us aren't, they do a salmon, a grilled chicken, but they do also have a ham and cheese pizza, mini cheeseburgers, a roasted turkey breast, the Mufasa jungle pasta, whole wheat penne pasta with tomato sauce. Again, we just give it a cute name.
Sure.
So there's options for everybody.
Well, I know we're going to have a couple of weeks where we're going to go over rooms and lounges or anything like that. Anything that we didn't mention tonight that you want to kind of hit on anybody, or are we set to call it a night and be excited for the next couple of weeks?
I'll just give my general reminder. Disney Cruise Line doesn't work like other cruise lines. It works like an airline. They use dynamic pricing. The more rooms in any category booked, the higher the price. Book early for the best rate. They do have a lenient cancellation policy outside of the 90-day window. So lock in your date early to get the best offer.
Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad that you have experienced all these things, and there's more on the way. And I'm excited to hear over the next couple of weeks about the rooms and the lounges on the Disney Destiny. Have a great week.
You as well.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Dis. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week, and as always, keep making memories.